maybe you can hear me. It's Thursday, December the 1st, 2022. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for being along with us. As I said, you didn't hear me moments ago. We're almost there, almost at the end of the week. And that teaser graphic is one that just basically pains my heart. And that, by all means, is a top story we'll get to, and we'll get to it in just a few moments. But first, let me remind you of the quick things so we can get to that really quickly. Stop by our website. This is theconversationproject.com, the home for The Conversation Project. Things you might have heard. You're welcome. The weekly wrap-up and other great things to bring in more people for more conversational things on the news. We like to provide for you some of the more not quite off the beaten path topics, but just things that aren't necessarily mainstream things. Although some things, now that there's less war and coronavirus that is in the news, taking over the whole forecast, the whole newscast, is becoming more a big thing. We'll talk specifically about that in a moment when we get to our teaser story, because that's something that sort of chaps my hide, if you will. I may be on the outside looking in on that one, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now, let's get to the news stories. And of course, as we say, if we're doing some stories that you did not like or you wish other stories popped in, we'll explain to you when we get to the tease part how you can actually help that effort. Going with number one this morning, GMA hosts Amy Robach and TJ Holmes caught on PDA-filled dates and weekend trips. That's a quote, despite them both being married to other people. Now, this story has escalated extremely quickly since it was popped off of early yesterday, essentially. Let's start from the beginning. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes, or TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, which I want to say, they are anchors, they are hosts, they are news people, frontline personalities, all day personalities, if you will, on Good Morning America, and in the 12 hours that is Good Morning America every single day. Because they have similar interests and they work a lot together, there's a lot of pieces where they're doing stuff together. There were recently pieces of them running the New York Marathon together. That's all cool because they're coworkers, right? Well, apparently they're more than just coworkers, because this, although I've not seen anything particularly from Holmes or Robach, it's all over the places, to point that there, of course, once you know the details, it's just about getting your piece of the story. So there's stories now about Robin Roberts and George Stephanopoulos not being happy with the two. There's a piece about them officially leaving their wives and husbands away from stuff. There was a piece this morning about TJ Holmes, who 10 years prior, before getting this gig, essentially thanking his wife for putting up with all his mischievous and just idiocy for him just being a knucklehead, and of course now stepping on his wife all this time later. This is a story where it's none of our business, but guess what? They're public figures, and so it becomes our business. These are the stories that we want to really get into and really want to chat about, and that's what's happening, and it will happen for a while. Also, this is something that's going to have two things come about it. There'll be two issues coming about this. Number one, what happens to their jobs, because they've messed up in professional settings. We know what happened to Jeff Zucker over at CNN, although that was basically coming because of the buyout of CNN. But we knew what happened over there when his unfortunate affair came out, and then all the people who were attached to him no longer had protection going there. Not that TJ or Amy are protecting folks, but we'll see what happens to their jobs. And number two, how soon will we stop talking about them? Because one of the biggest sort of just grind my gears type scandals, I don't go along with this one, was Tiki Barber when he started having his affair with his production assistant at NBC News. And while this was going on, his wife was pregnant with twins. He eventually divorced his wife and married this other lady and had more kids. And he is doing fine, because at some point in time, we stopped talking about these things. So at some point in time, we'll stop talking about this thing. But right now, I seem to be talking about it way too much. I'm not sure why I'm so hyped about it. I guess because everybody and their mother around here in Arkansas knows TJ Holmes and thinks he's like the bread and butter of everything. And so this is something disappointing for a lot of folks I talked to yesterday. Let's speed this thing up, because there's many more people, many other issues, including Prince William and the new, I guess she's still a duchess, I guess, his godmother, Lady Susan Hussey, resigns from the palace duties after asking a black visitor where she came from. Not only where she came from, like, where are your people from? What part of Africa? You can't be British. After a black woman basically in the conversation told her, no, ma'am, I'm a British citizen. I'm a British national. I'm kind of from here. I was born here in the UK. She consistently pushed to say, no, where are you from? To make it worse, after stepping down, she went on a radio interview, I guess, this morning for England time and doubled down on the fact that, well, I just want to know where she was from. Just want to know where her background is. This is the equivalent of somebody asking me, where are my people from? And I'm saying Alabama. And like, no, where are your people from? And I say, Mobile, Alabama. And I say, no, no, well, some of them from Balabachi, Alabama. And, they're looking for, no, are you from Kenya? Are you from Nigeria? Like, I don't know. I was born in Alabama. That's basically what the thing happened. And for some reason, that's a bigger deal in weirdness over in the UK, who, they can't seem to figure out, things like that, without baffling themselves, especially on the rich set or the royal set, because we know what happened with Meghan Markle and the whole, will the baby be black? Will the baby be white? Will the baby be type questionnaires. These seem like things that we should have figured out, back in 57, Jerry Jones, but apparently not. Let's go to this one quickly. Mistrial declared in Danny Masterson's rape case after jury is deadlocked. You can say what you will about Danny Masterson or say what you will about the Church of Scientology and all of the weirdness around there, but this is a court case that just could not get resolved. Check out the link for the story and go deeper into this one because I'm going way long on these other two. But this is one that I tended to follow a bit more with intensity because I just have this weird curiosity with the Church of Scientology and what they get away with and what people get away with stuff, because I have a sick curiosity of things that people get away with and what happens when they get caught. Going back to the first story. So check out the story. This one is probably not as important now as it was before, but it is in sort of peeling some of the onions, the layers of the onion for this Church of Scientology and the things that people with privilege get and the people without privilege have to put up with. Florida QB Jalen Kitna arrested on child pornography charges. This is one I'm not going to go deep into right now because it's pretty sick, to be honest. Earlier in the weekend, there were a lot of things about the QB from Florida having some issues, and there was that kind of muted headlines and hushed sort of tones, and then basically yesterday it basically broke out. Child porn charges. Check out the story for more deeper details into this one. Check out the stories once again for how people with privilege get away with stuff for a time until they don't. Let's move on to the next story, which is Stevie Nicks says she didn't even know Fleetwood Mac singer Christine McVie was ill until Saturday in heartbreaking farewell letter to her best friend. Christine McVie, one of the lead singers and one of the founding members of Fleetwood Mac, passed over the weekend, and no one knew anything about it until Monday late. And Stevie Nicks says she didn't know that she was sick until basically she was at passing in the hospital. Stevie Nicks and Christine McVie have long talked about their great big friendship, great love for each other. Also, Christine McVie has been extremely private, extremely out of the spotlight for many times. In fact, basically retiring really many times for Fleetwood Mac, and every time they went back to touring, she didn't tour every single time because she didn't want to be bothered, to be honest. Great songwriter, great singer, from all accounts I'm hearing, great person. We are basically definitely mourning the loss of Christine McVie, and we are of course sending love out to her family, all the fans, and of course her Fleetwood Mac flat family directly. Let's go on to the next one. Milo, Yiannopoulos, and Nick Fuentes admit dinner with Kanye West was orchestrated to, quote, make Trump's life miserable. I'm not sure what I need to say about that. Milo, Yiannopoulos, and Nick Fuentes are really horrible people. They're extremely trolls. They're like the troll. If you can make a troll in human form and just, not have the little funny troll features that you think of them in cartoons with big noses, although maybe they have big noses, I don't know. These are these two guys, and they literally set Kanye up, essentially, because Kanye apparently isn't that bright, to pile along for this dinner with Trump so that Trump would have issues because they wanted to make his life a living hell. They wanted to be around him, wanted to set himself around him. Milo Yiannopoulos hates Donald Trump for many reasons. Nick Fuentes may not hate Donald Trump, but, he likes a little bit of spotlight. And Kanye is yay, I guess. So this whole thing was orchestrated. This whole thing was planned. Donald Trump essentially fell into the trap. And now we're talking about all of them, which we'd rather not. Phil Mickelson wasted no time in responding to Tiger Woods' comments on LIV Golf, PGA Tour. Check out the link. This is a beef that's growing. A good Phil and Tiger beef is really a good thing for all of us, not just golf, for everyone. And this is going to be bigger than Biggie and Tupac. This one may be a Roxanne Shante level event. We don't know yet, but it has possibilities. And I love it. Check out the link. See what Phil has said. We're flying back to Tiger, and we'll see how this thing goes back and forth. Today's Al Roker rushed back to hospital by ambulance just hours after release in battle with blood clots. A lot of these things are getting sensational, but Al Roker's having some issues. Al Roker's having some serious issues. And since everybody actually does love Al Roker, we are all looking for this. He basically just got released a few days ago, and of course, had to go back because of blood clot issues. We are definitely praying for Al Roker and his family and all folks around him for a speedy recovery. He may not be your favorite meteorologist. If he's not, there's something wrong with you. However, we do know that we need Al Roker around to do great stuff. So there. So we need Al Roker around. So Al Roker needs to be with us. Thank you, Al Roker. We pray that you'll get better real soon and get back to telling us how things go, and definitely back to the parade, because it was not the same without you. Let's do a little tease right here. And this is one that's a little, I'm going to probably be on the outside of most folks on this one. Here's your headline. LeBron James disappointed by lack of questions about 1957 Jerry Jones photo. Says media was quick to ask about Kyrie Irving. Yesterday at a press conference after game last night, after everyone was done, LeBron was like, hey, let me ask you guys something. How come you're asking me about Kyrie Irving, but no one's asked me a question about Jerry Jones in the picture? And he went on a kind of an passionate story about that, saying, you know, this is something that affects my people too. So, and just because he's not a basketball guy, it was past. This is something that really means something. And I have a platform. People listen. I have something to say, and no one's asking me about it. We will talk about this tomorrow if you deem this worthy of talking about. But here's the very short answer. If you want to talk about it, you can talk about it. Nobody asked you about it because nobody wanted to ask you about it, because everything can't be about LeBron James. He has a voice. He has a platform, but no one asked him about student loan reform. Nobody's asking about North Korea. No one's asking him anything about things like that. So why does LeBron James think that everyone should ask everything about him at the end of basketball games? Because Kyrie Irving was a teammate, and he's playing the same sport, and it affects what goes on directly. Jerry Jones doesn't affect him directly, but he can speak out about it if he wants to. We'll go deeper into this tomorrow if you deem this is something we should keep going into. Follow our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/thisIsAConversationProject and twitter.com/th_conversation. What happens when you go to those websites and follow those links, you will see links to other stories, such as this one, posting in a bit. This will take a while to post a bit because we post them a little bit, but every 50 minutes there's a new headline out there. As you engage in the headline, you like it, you love it, you hate it, you share it, it gets a higher score. In the morning, tomorrow morning, or specifically Tuesday through Friday, we take stories from the top 15 that of engagement from about 30 to 32 throughout a day. And then we pick 8 of those stories to make them a great narrative. On Monday, we have a full weekend. We have about 98 stories or so possible to get there. So we go from the top 30 stories and pick 10 of those and put those out there as well. So if you want to get the story that you love into the top countdown, into the top 8 tomorrow, just engage with it. And if we missed the story that you think we should have in there, just reply back to us in any form you want to, any of our forms, and we will talk about that in some way as well. Because sometimes just being a top story does not make it out. Today, we had so many stories that got axed out of the way. So many things that I saw that I actually wanted to talk about. There was an article about the women now, the girls back from One Tree Hill, which, was big back when I was in my 20s, having to do a Maxim magazine photo shoot. And they're all, 17, 18, 19 young women, and they're forced to by producers, and they weren't happy about it. That means something in a sense today. If my little girl wants to be a movie star at a young age and they're pushing her to do stuff, that means something today. But we didn't get a chance to get into that because Al Roker, he kind of knocked her out of the box. That's how things work for this stuff. If you want to make sure the story you want to see is there, make sure you put plenty of engagement in there so it's at the top, so that other more interesting stories don't get knocked down. So now we're going to talk Now that I've gave that little lecture, let's talk about the sponsor for the day. Today's main sponsor is Flowers Fast. You can go to thisisaconversationproject.com/sponsors and see many of our sponsors, most of our sponsors who are putting up as main title sponsors for the show. Today, we're talking about Flowers Fast as we are officially in the holiday season. Well, I guess we've been there for about a week, but today is December 1st. So if you don't know, you have 24 days until Christmas. Just want to throw that out there. If you're not big on actual gifts or you just can't get around to stuff, Flowers Fast can get you flowers fast, as they say. In fact, sometimes they get you same day flowers if you get there fast enough. Flowers Fast has connections to all the FTD florists around the nation. So you put in an order via them and they can get that order to whoever you need to as quickly as possible. Might I even say fast. Check out Flowers Fast at thisisaconversationproject.com/flowersfast. Thisisaconversationproject.com/flowersfast. You can give a floral bouquet. You can give all sorts of gift bouquets. There's all sort of snacky things as well. It's not just flowers, but it gets them to them fast. If you're behind and need this gift for someone quickly, they could probably take care of you faster than you can think. So check them out, Flowers Fast, at thisisaconversationproject/flowersfast. This is a affiliate link, so we do get a kickback, if you will, from this, but this is how we help keep things going on with our sponsors and partnerships. And so let's move on to talk about us real quick one more time and those sponsors and partnerships. Technically, our website is thisisaconversationproject.com. Stop by for details behind the scenes of the Conversation Project, the other bits and pieces of media we do, including the weekly wrap up, which is all the stories, raw data telling us what the top stories are, not just me cherry picking the ones that I like in those cases. The You're Welcome podcast, which we're going to try again this week. We're going to take a topic and we're going to say some of the things that you really want to say, even if they go against what the nice people may say about them. And of course, this thing here, things you might have heard, whether it's the audio version or video version, stop by there. Check out our website for links to all the sponsors, links to our partnership opportunities, and to our TikTok. We may do a TikTok. I think we're going to start doing a TikTok of the stories that get cut. So I'm going to have to stop erasing them off my run sheet and putting them someplace else and do a TikTok on the stories that got cut. Although TikTok takes forever to populate, so we hadn't figured that part out yet. So there you go. Let's get into today things for the day, for the time runs away for us. On December the 1st, with no space in there, not December 1 birthdays, December 1 birthdays. From a distance, because I don't know where she is, Bette Midler gets celebrated at 77 years old on today. The singer, the songwriter, the crooner, the actress. My wife loves her. When she plays beaches, I leave the house. Bette Midler turns 77 years old on today. Sarah Silverman, 52 years old today, having a resurgence in the commercial world, but I'm always a popular comedian. Popping up in the Uber Eats commercials, doing very cheesy, bad jokes, as she tends to do. But I think she's funny. I think she's interesting. I think she's entertaining. I believe her birth certificate says she's 52 today. And Zoe Kravitz, turning 34 on today. There's so much you can actually say about Zoe Kravitz. She is blowing up, and she seems like she's come out of nowhere. Of course, she has famous parents, and she has a great pedigree, and she's doing all this stuff. And she seems like she's come out of nowhere, but she's been at this for a while, and 34 years old, looking good, doing good. Zoe Kravitz. Today is Christmas Lights Day. It's a celebration of one, the creation, the birth of Christmas lights, but two, the actual first sort of rational day where you should start putting up Christmas lights. This is controversy. This is where things are really going on. This is what LeBron James should be asked about after basketball games. What is his take on Christmas lights? Should they come up right after Thanksgiving? Can you put them up in October? Should they stay up all year long? Christmas Lights Day is today. Celebrate your Christmas lights and go ahead and put up your Christmas lights today. It's good today. Yesterday, no. Today, you're good. No one's going to complain about Christmas lights going up on the 1st of December. One more thing you might not have heard as you're going out the door. A study by Baby Center found that a baby's first year of expenses now exceeds $15,000 due to inflation. The study surveyed over 1,500 new and expecting parents and found that these expenses made up 27% of a family's income and cause financial worries and an impact on family planning. Notable expenses include formula, clothing, disposable diapers. So the cost of a baby is always too much. I know when we finally had, my wife and I finally had a baby, it was like we got married. We talked about having babies. And so we got married. She was said babies were expensive. It's not going to happen. Well, we negotiate down to just one. And yes, babies are expensive and it probably shouldn't have happened. But for anybody who is looking into the joys of a bundle of joy, also look into the pain of a lower paycheck, less money in your pocket. And of course, no sleep, which doesn't account for any money loss. But trust me, it's lost as it is. This has been Things You Might Have Heard for Thursday, December the 1st, 2022. My name, Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for joining us for this jaunt through news craziness as we deem ourselves your news side piece, giving you some of the not so big pieces of news stories. Yeah, CNN's not leading with TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, but people in y'all are, so that's what we did. Make sure you are staying hydrated, staying limber, and staying on task for all the things you need to do, including hanging those Christmas lights. And if you're feeling a need of to talk to someone, feeling a despair or dread, don't forget the new service 988, replacing the old number, which actually still works, for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Someone's there to talk to you 24/7 in English and Spanish if you need someone to talk to. It is just that simple. I'm out. We're going to do this again tomorrow. Wrap up for one more day of great things. Apologies for all the technical issues. We've had some glitches going here and there that have been kind of there, but we're doing our best to keep it up there. Thank you for all of the responses and feedback you've given us for the tweaks we've done this week. We're going to make some of those cemented coming up next week and add a couple more quirks to make things work and more pithy and speedy. We're under 25 minutes. We're at 22 minutes, so I think we did good today. Let's see how good we can do for tomorrow.